sentences Smollette to 150 days in jail, ordering him to pay a little over $120,000 in restitution and slapping on a $25,000 fine. Thursday, Fox pins an op-ed in the Chicago Sun-Times where she calls the Smollette case a failure of our justice system, citing a mob mentality against black women elected prosecutors. Friday morning, Fox and I sit down for this exclusive television interview to explain. What do you mean mob mentality against black female prosecutors?
In this case, it's been 3 years for a class 4 felony where a decision was made. And for the last 3 years, there's been this deliberate attempt to upend the decision that my office made. And it feels unprecedented and it feels personal.
Racist?
Mr. Smollette was given 150 days in Cook County Jail. Last time the special prosecutor had a case of R.J. Vaneco, the man who was accused of punching and killing someone, he got 60 days in jail. You punch and kill someone and get 60 days in jail. You lie about a hoax in which you are the victim, which is not to dismiss it.
Right.
150. And so what I would say is that Cook County's criminal justice system has had racial disparities throughout, and this is a clear example of what that racial disparity looks like.
You were actually throwing a national pity party for yourself.
Why did the judge admonish him as he did?
I have not seen, in my tenure as state's attorney, helicopters flying overhead, the scrum of cameras, whether it was on the first bond hearing date or yesterday.
Well, you had R. Kelly. You had similar.
R. Kelly had an arrest warrant out for him, and the spectacle around that. But that was for allegations of sexually abusing multiple women. That was for allegations of sexual assault. This was allegations that he perpetrated a hoax. And I think the energy, and people have had really strong emotions about this case, from the President of the United States to the FOP and folks in between.
Jussie Smollette took advantage of the pain.
That's why I support Kim
racism
Fox.
To promote his career.
He was made an example of.
But who is the example being made of and for what?
I think part of it, the example is being made for prosecutors who decide not to do what's traditionally done. I think part of this is, the decision that I made, and it was not acceptable to some, and we're going to show you what an alternate disposition would be. Is sending you to prison or sending you to jail for 150 days, is that what accountability looks like when we don't do that on other class 4 felonies? We don't do that on other class 4
This
felonies.
is why
So
I
think
support
Mr. Smollette paid the price for
Kim
people
Fox.
who wanted, who had a thirst for revenge.
Jussie Smollette has never shown to the city of Chicago an ounce of contrition. He's never once stood up to say, I'm sorry. He's never once stood up to accept responsibility for his criminal conduct. He has simply denied it, and denied it.
In August of 2019, a judge appoints former U.S. Attorney Dan Webb to investigate why Fox's office eventually drops charges against Smollette.
Smollette was allowed to go free and basically give the finger to the city of Chicago. Judge Tooman decided that handling of that case was so inappropriate that a special prosecutor needed to be appointed. So I followed the directions of Judge Tooman and not the directions of Kim Fox.
That special prosecutor's charge was to determine whether or not I had improper contact with Mr. Smollette's family and whether or not I had a role in the outcome of the case.
In a TV interview, Webb explains why he took on the case for the Chicago Police Department and the city.
The prosecutors who handled this case, Joe McGatz and Risa Lanier, both of them have handled police officers who were murdered in the line of duty. And I want to lift that up. They knew how to handle a class 4. And so I'll take the shots. I'm the elected official. I'll take it. What I won't allow is for the denigration of the men and women who do this work.
Fox laments that racial disparities still linger within the criminal justice system and admonishes those who cringe when she continues to bring it up.
What has been interesting about my time, when I say that there are racial disparities, it's so discomforting for people. There she goes talking about race. But I can't help but notice that when I go into 26 in California, the overwhelming majority of victims are Black and brown. The overwhelming majority of defendants are Black and brown. And there's something that tells me, because I know Black and brown people aren't inherently more dangerous than anybody else. I know that to be a fact. That we have to do the work and look at
I heard
disparities.
that.
And back to the Smollette case, which she feels
Jussie
is
Smollette
being a
played
double
himself.
star on the city of Chicago and her office.
The fascination, 3 years around this case. We'll be examining for years. And I hope so, because in that time period, the cases of missing Black women
Right.
that don't get the attention,
Right.
the victims who have to walk past that scrum to go to their courtrooms and who may feel that their pain and trauma isn't newsworthy. I hope we examine why we were so fixated on this case.
And don't count Kim Foxx out for another run at the state's attorney's office. She did not say yes, and she did not say no.